Well, you're just seeing a secret computer right here. This is how Bernanke manipulates the economy and also the plunge protection team. They just have these girls throw up some numbers, 754132. They spit that out on the computer. And guess what? That's how they manipulate the economy. So, yeah, gold is probably manipulated. You know, even the Chinese say that. The Chinese even say that gold's manipulated. But what they're doing in face of manipulation is buying gold. That's going to be the thing that's actually going to destroy the Western powers, in their opinion. And we're going to have a fight over resources. So I'm going to say this, keep buying the physical stuff if you don't have it. If you're already loaded up on it, I mean, you don't have to keep buying it. There's other things you should buy because this is going to be like if there's a catastrophic collapse of the economy, a systemic catastrophic collapse, well, guess what? The first thing it isn't going to say is, hey, I got my silver coins here, I can eat now. Yeah, maybe. But, I also want to point out something else with, they have like the 1.5 billion rounds that we went over to the Homeland Security Department. That's a pretty good indication that something's coming down. So, I don't know when, though. Usually the news is like, and you get all this shit coming on, oh, yeah, the sky's going to fall. It doesn't happen right away. But that means something's coming down the pike. I mean, it could be a couple years from now, for all I know. We get the story now, but that don't mean it's going to happen next week or next month. But we might have a pullback more in the markets. I know it's pulling back, but I mean, the Dow was up over 14,000. It's still pretty damn high. What really pulled back was the metals, as you see. And platinum and palladium especially, and I was a little worried about them when I dumped them. But I didn't dump the physical because I think if there's a problem, we're gonna, that's long range. That's really what it is. The physical is long range, but silver took a little bit of a spring back today. But I don't think it's going to get down to some crazy numbers that some people think. What I got a theory is if I was in regular markets right now, that is what can get nailed. And also oil. I'm in oil. And I'm getting killed on this shit. Because if the markets go, the Dow or the S&P actually in oil, they pretty much relate very closely. So, that's one thing I'm thinking is oil might go down, but then it might spring up really hard because the oil is something more manipulated than silver, actually, I think. Because what you're going to see is possibly maybe a hard pullback in oil, then maybe we'll have the war with Iran and it goes way up because remember, it's the percentage gains. If you bring it way down and then bring it up, you're not going to bring it up to like $150, $200 a barrel because the public would scream and they'd be saying the manipulators and the speculators and everybody else is wrecking the markets and it's ruining the economy. And we got plenty of oil actually coming out of the Bakken Reserve and everything. The U.S. is awash in oil, but the price of gasoline is going up. Go figure that because the EPA regulations on the refineries more than likely. But I think there might be a real radical move in the price of oil, bringing it down hard, and it's going to go up way over 100 again. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm just hanging on to this stuff till I get a profit. Goodbye. But as far as, I'm going to diverge here a little bit because I usually don't talk about coins. And, I think Brother John F. talks about coins all the time. And, he's got some pretty decent ideas, I think, on some stuff where if you get, like, a coin and it's only a couple bucks over spot and you speculate that maybe it's going to go up a lot because it's going to be like a fad, like a collector coin. Well, I'm going to say this, dump them. Dump them. If you get something like $2 or $3 over spot and all of a sudden it goes to 15, 20 bucks over spot, dump it. Get rid of it, physical or not, and then get generics. Because when SHIT hits the fan, guess what? It ain't going to matter, in my opinion, at least in my opinion, it ain't going to matter what the hell kind of picture of an animal or whatever the hell you got on there. If it's a teddy bear, panda bear, a moose, a buffalo, if it's a block, if it's square, whatever the hell it is, it ain't going to matter what the hell's on it. If everything fell apart and we had this systemic, catastrophic financial collapse, well, guess what? Silver's silver then. It ain't going to matter. So I'm going to tell you, like, I got Eagles, Maples, and Philharmonicas, like the regular, minted stuff. Then I got generics. And the generics I got that I like is these Buffaloes. And also the Walking Liberties. and they sell these, and you can get these. So if there's a more tough pullback coming up, in silver, I don't know. I'm not much sure how much more it's going to pull back now. I think the market's going to get killed. But if you're trying to find physical silver, you ain't going to find too many like maple leafs like around spot or American Eagles or even Philharmonicas or anything like real common. But some of these generics, so you probably get these around spot around that time. Say it pulled back to 26. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to do that though. I'm a little leery about this because, I don't want it to pull back, to tell you the truth, but maybe that's prejudicing my, that's clouding my judgment here, but I think the markets are going to pull back, the Dow and the S&P. They're way too high. I mean, we might see more, like, in other words, there might be serious bleeding in the markets versus the metals. I mean, we've already seen serious bleeding in the metals, but you start having a 25% correction in the Dow, then they're going to go to Super QE. Super QE, and it's going to be hell. So, and that's what I'm pretty much predicting. So, you might see one time you're going to look over at the markets. You're going to be checking your iPad like old girl over here, and you're going to find one day everything's just going to come down. Just think about the 1929 stock market crash. We're basically in that kind of situation right now. The only thing that's going good in this economy is the stock market, and in comparison, even back in the late 20s, there was a lot of problem in the agricultural area too. And that's exactly what we got going on here due to droughts. So, I mean, it's happened before. We've had 90% corrections in stock market already too, in this country. Maybe that's not going to happen today like that because they can fix things with the plunge protection team. But still, the money's got to come from somewhere. And, that could make silver fly. This is old silver girl here sitting on a bicycle, and that might be us sometime in the future going, we're on for a serious ride because silver might be flying through the roof. But then again, if it's going through the roof like that, don't be afraid to sell some. This is where I got a problem with some of these guys out there because holding all physical assets, like even Mark Faber says, he's got over 25% of his wealth in physical gold. Right? And actually, he's one of the few people that does that, right? But he doesn't have 100%. He doesn't have 75%. So if you've got about 50% or more in precious metals, and they go right through the roof, hey, take some gains, buddy. Take some gains. So it might happen a little later on. I don't know when the hell all this crap's going to happen. That's the thing. I don't know myself. But I said a lot of stuff actually with gold and silver is predicated upon tensions in the Middle East and uncertainty. And another thing that can contribute to uncertainty is, the market's pulling back really hard, 25% or 40% or some crazy amount like that. Oh, that would scare the crap out of people. Then they'd be running into gold and silver. But right now, I'm not too sure about, I'm looking at people in the gold and silver people that, push the metals a lot, the pumpers. They're right. They're saying it's going way up. This correction period really isn't quite over, but I don't know if it's going to be as severe as some of the bears say. Some of the bears are talking $20, $22. I don't know. I mean, if it went down to like below 26, it might be overnight. That don't mean you can freaking buy coins, Dan, if they're available. You might see the website down on, even the popular places, and it might be charging premiums on the coins too if it gets down that low. Because, like I said, a lot of the American Eagles and Maple Leafs, they're out. They're out. They sold them out. So, but we'll be in for the ride pretty soon, like old girl here. And but don't be afraid to sell once you get in on that downhill ride and everything looks like the cash is flowing in. Don't be afraid to sell and go on to your next move. That's one of my main points. And as far as like oil right now, I wish I wasn't long on this stuff, but I have been on it forever long because I'm expecting some point in time they're going to pull the trigger on the Middle East and it's going to make a gain. But what might happen here is if this pulls back more, I'd buy it and go long because if it pulls back below 90, well below 90, if it does, I'd go long in oil. And just wait, because there might be the attack of Iran coming up here fairly soon. I don't know. It's real speculation because it's been talked about for so many years. But I don't think they're going to be able to hold oil prices down here, and it's not in the interest of the elite on the top to have oil prices this low, even at 90 something a barrel. So, it's gonna actually play out, and if it pulls back more, I'd say buy oil. Besides, not just buying silver. So, anyway, just want to give you a fast update on this because I'm a little leery about what's going on right now, and I'm assuming silver could pull back a little bit more, but I'm not expecting it to pull back to some crazy amounts like the way some people are talking because um, there's just going to be too many. Actually, in the coin market, if it pulled back to below 26 again, I don't see where the hell the coins would come from. I mean, really. As far as coins, there'd be silver maybe coming out of the earth, but I don't know where the hell the coins would be coming from. Because they'd be out of stock and so fast it'd be ridiculous. You'd probably have a tough time getting it for real then. But just think that, probably we're going to probably see a super spring the other way too. So, but don't be afraid to sell on the peaks either. That's what I'm going to be doing.